Well, France 24's Chris Moore is at the Elysee Palace here in the French capital. Chris, the summit begins tomorrow. It's probably a bit late, isn't it, for President Macron to make any significant changes to the talks, but he is keen to show those NGOs that have come to see him that he's listening to them.
That's right, Emmanuel Macron sounding the alarm bell over what's going on in the Amazon on the eve of this G7 summit, one in which the French organisers are looking to forefront tackling climate change, promoting equality between men and women and tackling economic inequality. As such, several NGOs devoted to some of those causes have been invited to the Elysee Palace here today for what the organisers say will be concrete proposals taken forward towards the G7. Problem is, in terms of publicity, in terms of marketing, however, that several major international NGOs, including Oxfam and Action Against Hunger, are boycotting all of this, saying that of all the G7 meetings, this is the one in which they've been the least consulted, the least invited, the least involved. And it's not just political. Oxfam really sort of launching a broadside against these G7 leaders, saying that by pursuing what they say is a failed neoliberal economic model, they are guilty of causing many of the problems which they claim to be tackling. Here in France, meanwhile, Emmanuel Macron, somebody who's always put the fight against the environment, against environmental damage, nominally at least at the forefront of his politics, is under increasing criticism for failing to meet his own environmental targets. Now, obviously, when you get a G7 meeting, G8, G20, there tends to be a counter-summit, protests, etc., as there have been this time around as well, down on the Franco-Spanish border. But in terms, as I said, of publicity, the fact that many of these major NGOs are giving this the cold shoulder, not great for Emmanuel Macron on the eve of the summit.
OK, well, thank you very much indeed for that. France 24's Chris Moore at the Elysee Palace.